Hello everyone, welcome back to Tea Time Crochet, and today we're going to be working on this bag. The one I'm going to be doing today is not going to be as big as this one, but this bag is designed so you can use any size that you wanted. So the size of your bag is determined by the size of the granny square on the bottom. So since we're using bulky weight yarn, this granny square, I hope that you can see it, but this ridge right here is the end of the granny square. So this ridge is where we started the actual body of the bag. So the granny square itself is 5 rows long, or rounds long, because we're working in the round. So you can adjust the size of your bag by any amount. You could go smaller, you could go bigger, just by adjusting the size of this granny square. And this is just your basic solid granny square, which is what you want to use for a bag, so you don't have a bunch of holes. You're still going to have the holes from the X in the middle, but you can always line it. And I do have a tutorial on how to line a bag on my channel, so you can definitely go check that out once you finish your bag and if you want to line it. But like I said, this bag is so versatile because you can choose any size that you wanted, and it will turn out completely perfect. So the bag that I'm going to be using or making today is going to be smaller than this bag, so it won't be this size. So this bag itself is quite large. I used 3 skeins of bulky weight yarn. I actually remembered the skeins just in case you want to know. So this cream color is Loops and Threads Charisma in the color Off-White. And then this next color is Barnett Softy Chunky in the color Pumpkin. And then I also used Hometown USA in the color Portsmouth Pumpkin. So that's what the other 2 oranges are. So you don't have to change color. It's just I didn't have enough of one color to make the bag. So I decided just to go ahead and use 3 different colors, and that's fine. And then I just added this little loom knit flower that I made. But like I said, you can make this bag in any size that you want, and you can use any color you want. As long as it's a bulky weight yarn, you'll do just fine. You could do the same thing in a worsted weight yarn. Your granny square would probably have to be more rows in order to equal a good size, but it's not going to have that bulk to support a lot of weight. So definitely, if you were going to use worsted weight yarn, you would have to line it. Otherwise, it's going to get really stretchy, and it'll stretch out because, crochet, when it adds weight, like if you were to throw books or groceries, or, if you took it as a market bag, I don't think that it would hold up as well as the bulkier weight, because you have that extra weight that's going to give it that structure. But like I said, this is made out of bulky weight yarn, but if you wanted to use worsted, you could. It's the same concept, just the basic granny square that you're going to use, it goes off that size. So as long as you're following, the basic directions, it wouldn't matter what yarn you used. So to get started, okay, so what you're going to need is since this is a variable pattern, depending on how big you're going to make it, you're going to need however many skeins of yarn that you're going to want. So for that big bag, I used 3 skeins of yarn. Since I'm going to be making a smaller bag, I'm probably only going to need 1, but I want to show you how to change color. So I'm using these, hopefully they'll show up on camera okay. So one of them is Bernette Softy Chunky in the colorway Gray Rag. And then the other is Loops and Thread Charisma in white. And they are both a bulky weight yarn. This is a super bulky weight, but when you look at them, they're about the same. So they'll be fine. And then you're going to need an 8mm crochet hook, because we want a hook that matches the weight of our yarn. You're going to need your scissors and your yarn needle, which I forgot inside the house, so I'll have to run out and get that in a little bit. And you're also going to need a calculator to calculate your handles if you want to be exact on it. I never really am exact when I do my handles. I kind of just eyeball it. I make sure that the amount on either side of the handle is the same. And then, you know, I kind of just work from there. But I will show you how to estimate the size of your handle going off the stitches as close as you possibly can. I hope that made sense. So you're going to choose your first color, whatever color that may be. So I hope this yarn choice is okay. I'm running a little low on lighter type or lighter color of bulky weight yarn, so hopefully you'll be able to see it okay, because everything else I have is dark. So to start off with, you're going to make a slip knot. And then we're going to chain 5, because we want that beginning chain to be a little bigger because we are using bulky weight yarn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to slip stitch into that beginning stitch there to form a ring. So just like that. And if you've been watching my tutorials for a while, you know that I never chain 2 or 3. I always just go straight in with whatever stitch that I'm using, because I think that it looks nicer. It doesn't have that gappiness that a chain 2 or 3 will give you. So I chain 1, and then I go directly in to my double crochet and pretend that this chain 1 doesn't even exist. So going to do our first double crochet, and then we're going to do 2 more into the ring. And then we're going to chain 2, so 1 and 2. And we're going to put 3 more double crochets into that ring. And as we're doing it, we're working over our tail. And this is why we needed a bigger ring, because bulky weight yarn can take up a lot of space. So that's 3. So we're going to chain 2 again. So 1, 2, and then we're going to do 3 more double crochets into the ring. So 1, 2, and 3. So we have 3 sets of 3 double crochets so far. So just kind of scrunch it sideways, and then you're going to chain 2 again. 1, 2, and then we're going to do our last set of 3 double crochets. One, 2, and 3. And then we're going to chain 2. So 1 and 2, and we are going to slip stitch into the top of that first double crochet. and then pull that tight. So this is what you should have so far. You can go ahead and take that tail and pull it tight, and that will close up your center. So just like that. So since we're doing a solid double crochet, or a solid granny square, we're going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch across, starting with that beginning stitch. So we're going to chain 1, pretend like it doesn't even exist, go into that first stitch with a double crochet, go into the next stitch with a double crochet, and the next stitch. So we put 1 double crochet in each one of the 3 double crochets that we created before. Now we're going to be working in this chain 2 space, which is the corner. So we're not going to work into the stitches, but we're going to work around them. So we're going to put 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, scrunch that sideways, and then chain 2, so 1, 2, and then 2 double crochets again. So just like that. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet in each one of these double crochets. So that's a total of 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So we put 1 double crochet in each one of those stitches. And then we're back to a corner space. So we're going to put 2 double crochets into that corner space, chain 2, 2 double crochets. So that's 1 and 2. And then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then 2 more double crochets. So we're creating another corner space there. So we have our next 3 stitches. We're going to put 1 double crochet in each one of those. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we're back to another corner space. So we're going to put 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. So chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets into that space. And then we're going to scrunch that over a little bit because we don't want to miss this stitch here. So 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. And then we have our corner space here, which this section could get a little confusing because we're at the end, but we have to do our corner space first before we can join to the last stitch, or the beginning stitch. So 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets into that corner space. So that's 2, and then chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets into that stitch, or that corner space. And then we can join to that beginning stitch. So you're just going to slip stitch to join. And you can see that your squares coming together. So each round you're going to gain more stitches. So just keep that in mind. It's the same basic thing that we just did, other than you have more stitches in between. So I'm going to chain 1, and as always that chain 1 doesn't even exist. We're going to double crochet, put 1 double crochet in every stitch until we get to the corner. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we have our corner stitch or corner space here, so we're going to put 2 double crochets into that corner space. So that's 1 and 2. Go ahead and scrunch it sideways, and then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then 2 more double crochets, 1 and 2. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet in all of these stitches until we reach our corner space. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we're at a corner space, so we're going to put our 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. The corner space will always be the same. You're not going to add any more stitches or take away any stitches in that area. So that's chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets. And these corner spaces is what's increasing our square. So we have 1 double crochet in all of these stitches. Okay, so we're at a corner space, so 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and then 1 double crochet in every stitch until we get to the corner. So here's our corner space. So 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and the way that I do my squares, the bigger your square gets, the more stitches you will have before you join. So just keep that in mind. You're not doing anything wrong if you have more stitches and your joining becomes further towards the center, or even more, depending on how big your square is going to be. So we're going to go ahead and put 1 double crochet in each of these 2 stitches until we get to our beginning stitch. So just like that, and then we're going to slip stitch to join. So this is what you should have so far. Like I said, your size of your bag will vary by the size of this square. So I have 3 rounds now. My big bag was a total of 5 rounds. So you could do less, you could do more. It does not matter in the least bit. So you want to kind of base the size of your bag off of the size of this square. So I have 3 rounds now. I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next step. My bag will be smaller than the other bag that I made, but like I said, it's totally adjustable to what your preference is. And you could have a variety of different size bags if you would like. So the next step is we're going to just put 1 double crochet in every stitch around, but for this row we're going to be working only in the back loops. So I need to undo this because I had joined there. So I want to join, when I join this row together, only in the back loop. So just like that. Because joining in the, or going this round only in the back loop is going to kind of make your bag want to sit up a little straighter. So that's why we're doing that. So I'm going to go and chain 1, and then I'm going to put 1 double crochet into the back loop of that first stitch. And then in every stitch around, and I'll show you when we get to the corner how we're going to do that. So put 1 double crochet in every stitch until we get to the corner, only in the back loop. So there's my last stitch. So I have my chain 2 here, and we're just going to put 1 double crochet in each one of those chain 2s, only in the back loop. And then we're just going to continue our way around. So we're not adding any stitches or decreasing any stitches. We are just wanting to build the body of the bag now. But this round is the only one that you work in the back loop. So I'm at my corner stitch again, so I'm just going to put 1 double crochet in the back loops of each one of those stitches. And then work my way around the other side. So I'm to another corner. So just 1 double crochet in each one of those stitches, working in the back loop. And then I'm going to work up my last side. here's my last stitch, so I'm going to work in the back loop of that, and then when I join, I'm going to join through both loops. And I'm just going to turn my bag the right way out, and you can kind of see how it already forms that bag, so it sits up nice and flat. So for the next section, you're just going to be working 1 double crochet in every stitch around. You're going to join just like we have been joining. So I'm going to go ahead and do that section with you. So I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to put 1 double crochet in every stitch around, including that first stitch. And now you really don't have to worry about the corners because the corners are filled in. So all you gotta do is just put 1 double crochet in every stitch around, and you are set to go. Okay. Alright, so here's my last stitch, and then I'm going to slip stitch to join into this beginning double crochet here. And you are just going to repeat that until your bag is the length that you want it to be, so however tall you want it to be. My original bag was, I did 12 rows after the granny square. So after this row that we did starting at the row that we did the back loop only, I did 12 rows and then I started the handle. So I will go ahead and pop in the number of rows I am going to do for this size bag before the handle to let you know ahead of time. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish that amount of rows off camera, and then we'll come back and I'll show you, I think I'll come back and show you at the color change, how I'm going to change color, and then I'll come back and show you the handles. So go ahead and finish however many rows that you need to finish, and then I will meet up with you when I have finished mine. Okay, so I've completed my rows, which was a total of 8 rows. I would have already popped that into the beginning of, or the end of that last clip, so you already knew that. That's just for this size bag. So we're going to change color now, and this is all I have left of this skein, so keep that in mind. And this is a fairly small bag, and I would have to have 2 skeins in order to be able to finish this bag. So we're going to go ahead and change color. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this yarn, and then I have my next color here, and I'm going to go ahead and create a slip knot, and I'm going to go through that beginning stitch just like I would to join for any row. Oops. And I'm going to leave a little bit of a longer tail. I'm just going to pull that through both of those, and I'm going to tighten the gray, what I'm using for the gray yarn and the white yarn, I'm going to tie together. I know some people are cringing, but I am not one of those people that care about knots. You can do whatever joining method that you like. I have no problem with using a knot because I can hide them really well and you can't even see them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my tails forward and I'm going to chain one just like I would before. And I'm just going to continue with this white color for one more row. And I'm going to work over my tails as I'm doing it. So I'm going to put a double crochet into that beginning stitch. And then one double crochet in every stitch around, working over my tails as I do it. So see, you can't even see that knot that was there. And by doing it this way, you're working over your tails so you don't have to hide them later. And I find that doing it this way, you can hide them a lot neater than what you would if you went back and did it later. So go ahead and finish out this round, doing just one double crochet in every stitch, just like you've been doing. And then the next round will be, the handle portion. And then I will show you how to do that. So I will meet up with you when I am at the end of this round. Okay, so I finished that round. And then the next round we're going to be working on the handle portion. So we have 2 more rounds left and then we will be ready to fasten off. So you're going to slip stitch to join just like you have been doing. And we're going to chain 1 and put 1 double crochet in every stitch until we get to the next section. So you'll be able to see your square. Once we get to right here, you'll need to stop and then I'll show you how we're going to do the handle section. Depending on what size square you are doing, your stitches will vary from mine. So you just want to kind of have a little guideline of where this square ends, and then that's where we're going to stop because this is where we're going to measure for the handle. You could count your stitches if you would like, but I am really not that precise, so I just kind of eyeball it and figure out where exactly I am. So I know this is the side of my bag. I've kind of folded it in like this. So I folded the square directly in half so my bag is directly in half. So what you're going to do, if you want to calculate it, you're going to count the number of stitches that are here. So I have, and I normally don't count the ones that are directly on the end, I just count the ones that are facing me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So I have 25 stitches. So what you're going to do is take your calculator and you're going to divide 25 by 3. And that gives you 8.3. So the point whatever doesn't matter. What you want is you want this number, and that's going to tell you how many stitches on each side to kind of make your handle semi-even. So you're going to count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to place a stitch marker, and since I forgot to bring mine out, I'm just going to put a piece of yarn in there. And then I'm going to count over here I'm going to place another stitch marker. And I know that is where I want my handles to be, since my bag is kind of smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue crocheting, double crocheting up until that stitch marker. So one in every stitch until I get to my stitch marker. I don't want to work into my stitch marker. So I'm going to count over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Counting from stitch marker to stitch marker. So I have 11 stitches, so I'm going to chain 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I am going to continue on double crocheting, starting with the stitch that's next to my stitch marker. So just like that, and that creates our handle. So what you want to do is you want to do the same exact thing for the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of keep my little fold here and work my way around to the other side. And I can pull these little stitch markers because I don't need them now, and I'll use them on the other side. So one double crochet in every stitch until I reach the other side. I'm sorry about the plane. There's not much I can do about it because I think they're teaching a class, so it's been kind of non-stop because the airport is just over the hill from us, and they have, you know, the smaller planes that I think they're teaching people how to fly. So that's kind of, there's no good time because when the weather's good, they're out there constantly all day long. So I'm just going to kind of flip my bag over. And see, I already have my placement of where I want my handle to be from the other side, and since I kept the same exact fold, I can just use my handle from the other side to mark out where I want my handle to be on this side. And then you just kind of count to make sure that you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm one off on each side, so you just want to make sure you have the same amount of stitches for your handle that you had before on the other side. So I had 11, so I know that I need 11 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm going to crochet up to this stitch right before my stitch marker. And handles don't have to be perfect. No one's going to know if you're a stitch off, because it all works out in the end. But you do want your handles to be the same length. The stitches on either side really don't matter. So I'm going to chain 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I am going to double crochet into that stitch on the other side of my stitch marker. Just like that. And then I have 2 more stitches 2 more double crochets in to finish out this round. And then I'm going to just go ahead, you can undo your little fold. I'm going to slip stitch to join. And then we are on our last round. You can go ahead and pull out these stitch markers. We don't need them anymore. So I'm going to chain 1 and double crochet into every stitch until we get to our handle opening. So 1 double crochet in every stitch. Alright, so this is my last stitch. So I know I have 11 stitches for my handle here. So I'm going to put 11 double crochets around this chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm going to double check real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm going to just spread those out so they're evenly spaced across the gap. And then I'm going to just continue on double crocheting in every stitch until I get to my next handle. There's my last stitch before the handle, so I know that I need to put 11 double crochets around my chain here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So I'm going to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm just going to pull those out over that strand, and then I have 3 more double crochets here. Put 1 double crochet in each one of those, and then we are finished. We can just fasten off or slip stitch to join and then fasten off and hide all of your tails. So this is what your bag should look like. It's, you know, still fairly big. You have your handles. I can easily fit, you know, a decent skein of yarn in there, plus my project. So I hope this was useful for you guys. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.